Above me.
Careful, stocks. Can we maybe take height? Can someone look for a flank on height? I can chop it if someone flanks. Jahq, lurk. Both of you lurk. Both of you lurk. Both of you lurk. Both of you go. You can chop it out, Jahq. Spray this right. Leave it. Okay. Coming up.
I have it.
Nice.
They're ahead though. I have mounts.
Taking high ground is not only an art, but it's a delicate one. A skill where even the slightest of mistakes can cost you your entire game, which is what makes things like this so amazing in my eyes, because the height take doesn't start right here, but instead starts back on the mid ground, and let me explain. As I mentioned earlier, high ground is an art. It is a skill where actually the slightest of mistakes or mistimings can cost you your entire game all at once. All of your hard work is just thrown away instantly. But this is what makes high ground so great. In this video, I'm going to be trying to teach you guys the timings, the how-tos of getting high ground and how to keep it once you have it, because obviously you have to get it first to keep it, and let's hop straight into it. There are 4 signs that someone's not really prepared to hold high ground, even if they have a nice high layer. And the first one is going to be cones over heads. You see this more around your 4th zones, your half and halves. But when someone has a cone over their head, even if they're in a good position, they're usually not prepared to alpha it out. Like, they're there, they're waiting out their zones, they're getting their surge tags, but they're not quite prepared to fight for it. Maybe they don't have the resources or the ammo to actually be holding this high position, but they're just sitting in a good spot. Now the second sign is wood tarping and single tarping. It kind of goes as a double, but in moving zones, if you see the high ground team using wood, they are more than likely very low on materials. Obviously, you're going to want to go through your hard mats first. Now, sometimes this isn't the case. Sometimes they're just crossing an area and they don't want to waste their hard mats just yet. But for the most part, if you're looking up from a mid-ground layer and you're seeing a team on wood, you're going to want to at least pressure it. See if you can possibly take it from them. This is a perfect time. Now the third sign, which is a little bit less obvious and takes a little bit more analyzing, is they're not spraying. A decent amount of time, if you're on second height or if you're on a really high ground layer and the height team is not spraying at you, they either don't have the ammo count to hold it or they're just not paying attention. These are 2 of the easiest ways to tell that the height team is not in a position to keep it. And 4th is it's not a full team on height. Now obviously you can hold height as a duo, you can hold height as a solo, but if it's not a full team and you have a full team with the materials to be taking it, you can definitely get them out of there and you can 100% take height from them, but you still have to play it pretty smart. Okay, so now that you know when you should be going for height, let's talk about how. Now there are your obvious setups, such as basing up on a mountain and getting zone, or simply ramping a team, which is a little bit more complicated because your games can end like this.
A headshot boat. I was about to lead the game. Nice.
This is the like these kids are a duo right now, and I 200 the pink skin.
Oh, it's 29 white twice. Oh, it's 29 white twice. Oh, it's 29 white twice.
What you just heard was the beginning of the end. Now, when you ramp a team, you want to make sure it's pre-planned. For all of my height teams out there, you know you don't always pull it, but that does not stop you from being able to get it back again. Now, what you just heard was our anchor, who was playing back to make sure that the team that we were ramping can't be pressuring us back, is shooting at a completely different team, not even looking in our direction, and we don't get this information, which leads to this happening. Come here, we can ramp this.
Yep. Look above.
About to kill? Nice, I got a kill.
Box?
You have it?
Oh my god, what? Now obviously mistakes are made on both sides here. This definitely could have been played better on my end of the spectrum, but until this ramp is placed, I am unaware that this team even knows that they are being ramped. The lack of information we got from our anchor is really what ended up putting us in this situation. Not that it's completely his fault, but this is just one example of how even the slightest mistake can end in an easy game and an easy height take, ending up in a solo clutch and way less points in a tournament game. So now I bring you back to this clip, one of the more basic examples of what is one of the most effective and deadliest height takes in the game. Now, as I said previously, this height take was not made when they started cranking, but instead when they were playing mid ground, and I'm finally about to explain that right now. As a height team, your priorities are pretty simple. Who can take high ground, who can we make fight, and who can we kill, in that order. Mainly, when you first obtain height, you're looking for who can get it back. You're always trying to pressure your second height teams, you're pressuring people looking up at you, and you're looking in zone to stop people who are taking fish from ramping you from behind. Now, with that being said, this is why height takes like the one we just saw work. For example, this is one of my scrim games. We purposely based up under height with the intention to take it, but our height take didn't start when we took it. It starts back here. Right now we are simply being a mid ground team. We went for some triple sprays, we've got our surge, we've done everything we're supposed to do as a mid ground team. Although the concept of taking height has never once left our mind and it is still our objective. So as I said earlier, as a height team, you are constantly worried about who can take it from you and who can you kill, where can you find these tags at, who can you make fight, etc. So once we base up under height, we are currently a threat. They're going to look at us more, they're obviously paying attention, but once they see us playing mid ground, sort of like Jahq's team, once you see them tarping ahead, playing mid ground, not looking up, they become less of a threat to you. A lot of good teams will use this to their advantage and then play a flank on height when they least expect it. The focus is now shifted off of you, meaning that when you go up, you are catching this other team off guard, and it leads to plays like this one. Now obviously sometimes it's more impulsive than that, but the simple concept of playing mid ground and being able to read what your height team is doing is very important. Over the weekend we saw probably the best height take and the best clutch we have ever seen in Fortnite history, and I'm gonna roll it for you guys.
Nice. 300 mats, 200 mats.
This is the defining moment in this game. At this point, he realized that the height team is completely unaware that he exists and is 100% non-concerned about what he is doing back here. They don't even know he exists. This is what wins them the game, and it's just as I mentioned, this is probably the best example of a height flank you can ever have. They were playing mid ground, they were being a mid ground team, and once he get this peak here, he realizes he has the advantage over this entire team, and we'll just see what happens.
Full trio. You got a green one. Nice! Nice! Nice!
Yo, starfish.
7 bills, pop slurp!
7 bills. Top 2. 1v2,
Top
1v2. 1v2, you have 1 starfish.
Pop a starfish. 14 builds.
Coming up. Nice! He has to go through a building.
1 builds. 4 builds.
He has to go through a building.
Nice. Got your finish? No more builds.
He's coming up.
Height teams are usually stubborn. They are not ready to give up such a game-winning position so early, so most of the time they will fight you back for it. When you ramp over or crank over a team, you want to make sure you go down and fight them for a second and just pressure them off that to a point where they are no longer a threat to you. Pressure them off, spray them, box fight them, do what you have to do to make sure that they are not worried about you and that they're just playing out their lair or maybe even fighting and dying to another team. I want to end this video off by going through the rest of this gameplay. Now this is a very simple game where we imply our height flank strategy. And I actually do have another strategy to go over at the end of this video, but I just thought I'd walk you through this. So as I said before, you just want to make sure this team is going down. Right here, we saw Height was fighting, we saw they were distracted, we saw a knocked body even, so we just simply ramp over because they're not paying attention. You have to have some sort of confidence on Height. You can't be scared to make an alpha play. Height is an alpha position. You need to make alpha plays to go for it. So we see them fighting and we know we have to get this kid down or just kill him. So we drop onto his box, we pressure from 3 different angles, we play a nice pinch, and now we are holding a very good high ground position. Now what's very important is that you have an anchor. As you can see, I'm kind of sitting back looking in zone, making sure that this guy is not coming up and not flanking us from behind. And we have a lot of zones to go without the greatest match. So we are singular tarping here, but we're not using wood. We're making sure to use all of these hards. We're not staying too high up. And at this point, it is just tournament management. It's just maintaining. You just have to make sure that no one's coming up to get it. I feel like I usually do a great job of just making sure no one comes up. And from here, it's pretty basic stuff. Now what I want to skip to is the end phases and the heal off, because that is a big part of winning the game. Messing up your heal off or messing up your pressure can be the difference between you getting 4th and getting 3rd or 1st even in a very stacked lobby. So the game is coming to a heal off, and at this point we start to address it. Me and my boy Fresh here start to drop down, claim double edits. There were easier ways to get these kills, but we were playing kind of safe. I know we could have played this better, but for the most part, we're just trying to make sure we get the win. We're not too concerned about the kills here, and we just want to make sure that these kids are going down at all times. We need to make sure that they're dying to each other, dying to us, or just staying on the low ground. And now it's less about maintaining height and more about winning the game. So we realized that our friend up top had a med kit, so he instantly goes and takes 1 tick, and now he can play the med kit. He's getting ready to play heal off. It is our job down here to make sure that nobody is healing. It doesn't matter if we die. We try not to give them siphon, we try to die the zone, but we're just doing everything in our power to make sure that no one down here has the white health or isn't fighting, and it ends up securing us a victory royale. This is a very important thing. You want to make sure that at least their shield gets cracked, and you want to try to find their healer and stop him from getting it off. Now I did say there was one more high take we left here, and this is just the simple mid-ground crank. I left it for last because it takes no time to explain. As you see Blake, Furious, and Ellis doing here, it is literally just you are ahead of moving zones, you're playing really good on mid-ground, and you look up if height team is far enough back, or if they're fighting or doing anything they're not supposed to be doing on height. This is a perfect time to look up and crank over them. Make sure you get it. You want to crank forward first and make sure to get over them, or else you just end up in a very awkward moon fight. It's easy to lose, it's easy to die that way. You just need to make sure you get over them, make them go down, and then just play height and manage your game as we mentioned before. Anyway guys, if you have enjoyed this video in any way, shape, or form and found it helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. I don't ask for this often, but if you guys want to and you have found this helpful, make sure to go check out my Twitch. I've been live over there a lot. I took a little break trying to finish out school. I'm graduating soon, so I need to make sure my grades are all okay. But it's been your boy Dion, and I'm out. Peace.